The video I'm making today is about a hermit who lives in Nicaragua. My friend, who will remain nameless, gave me this video and the photos. My friend can speak Spanish because he is from that part of the world, but not from Nicaragua. But he was visiting Nicaragua, and the guy's name is Alberto Gutierrez. And there's a story about him on the internet, and I'll read that now, and then I'll show you some photos. It says that Alberto Gutierrez Giron has been living alone in the mountains of Nicaragua for nearly 40 years. Now this is a 2017 article. I think he's been there since 1977 now, so that's 42 years. And he's been sculpting a 300-foot long cliff into a giant artwork, just like the one he saw in a dream when he turned 9 years old. He's popularly known as the Hermit of Nicaragua, Stone Man, or Sculptor of the Mountain. He claims he was born on October 17, 1944, although he doesn't have a birth certificate anymore, and he was born in a village near Esteli City. He had always loved exploring the forest around his home, and at age 33, he decided he wanted to live his whole life surrounded by nature, creating an epic stone artwork he had dreamed of as a young boy. He had been thinking about it for years, but during the war that swept Nicaragua at the time, it seemed like the perfect opportunity to get away from it all. He spends around 3 hours a day chiseling away at a giant rock near his wooden hut in Taizi Estanzuela National Park, and in the last 4 decades he has managed to shape it into an eclectic sculpture, featuring all kinds of elements, from animals like elephants and cheetahs, to a model of the Esteli Cathedral, and even the Twin Towers of New York City. What's even more remarkable is that the elderly hermit claims that his giant sculpture is just like the one he saw in a dream nearly 70 years ago. It was on his 9th birthday that Alberto had the dream that ultimately inspired his extreme lifestyle change. He had spent a day playing outside, and when he came home he had just crashed into a heavy sleep and dreamed that he would sculpt a mountain. The image was so vivid that it stuck with him through the years, and when he first discovered the 300-foot rock atop Jalacate Mountain, overlooking the Taizi Estanzuela Reserve, he knew it was a place he had seen in his dream. During the 1970s, when the revolution was sweeping Nicaragua, he refused to fight for either side, instead travelling the country doing all sorts of work. In 1977, while working in a port, he found a rock and some nails that looked like chisels, and immediately recalled the dream he had as a child. He decided to go back to El Jalacate to finally start work on his epic sculpture. He arrived at the place that would become his permanent home in October 1977 and immediately started working on his sculpture. He lives in a small wooden hut he built himself. He doesn't have access to running water, sleeps on an improvised bed on a dirt floor, and lives off the land. He also doesn't understand modern concepts like the internet, even though it has made him one of the most famous hermits in the world. And my friend says his parents actually got killed during the revolution. He also showed me some photos of where he grows basically fruit. Nicaragua's a tropical country, so it's probably quite wet and fertile. So he lives off the land. I think he's 79 years old. I don't think he's actually lived there that long, so what he's translating is maybe not quite right. But either way, he's lived 42 years off the land and done this fabulous sculpting work. And I'll leave you now a bit of a video of the man talking himself.
Bienvenido hoy, 12 de junio, año 2019.
Okay, welcome to today, the 12th of June, 2019.
Paz, amor y felicidad.
Peace, love and happiness.
Bueno, gracias. Y así es mi cultura, saludándolos con mucha educación.
Yeah, greeting you with all
Paz,
politeness.
Y felicidad.
Peace, love and happiness. This is the author of the carvings. Ay,
Así es.
sí, ¿cuánto vivió por aquí?
Tengo 79 años de vivir aquí,
He's been living here for 79 years in the
42
wild.
años de cultura también.
Carving for 42
Y
years.
felicitándolo. Paz, amor y felicidad.
And congratulating you, peace, love, and happiness.